All right, welcome back to the Parlay Giveaway. I am your host, Joe Cortez. If you're a first timer here, what we do is we make parlay bets on mybookie.ag, and if we hit that parlay bet, we share our winnings with our followers and our fans on Instagram and Twitter. All right, so if you're getting this on YouTube right now, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you're updated on all our content. Shoot on over to Instagram and Twitter and follow us, and if you want, hit the notification for those two also. All right. We make bet predictions and we give away cash if we win those bet predictions. It's that simple. All right, guys. I'm buying your love. That's what it comes down to. I am buying your love. Now we have to go over the UFC 253 recap, and then I'm gonna give my bet predictions for UFC Fight Night with Holm and Irene Aldana. All right. But before that, I'm going to discuss this Hawaiian shirt, all right? So, 2 weeks ago, I made a bet. I made a parlay bet. We hit. I was wearing a blue Hawaiian shirt. Last week, I made a bet. It didn't come to fruition. This week, I'm back to the Hawaiian-themed shirts. And if we hit, I'm going to continue wearing the Hawaiian-themed shirts, and that's it, right? Don't care what you think. This is my life, all right? So, UFC 253 recap. The first fight that we put a bet on, Hakeem Dawodu versus Tukagov, the Russian, right? First, I want to address this not making weight thing. If you know my content from the past, if you've listened to my content in the past, you know how much that fucking irks me. Not making weight, it's disrespectful to your team, disrespectful to your opponent, disrespectful to UFC and your boss Dana White. And people know that. Izzy knows that. Stylebender knows that. After his fight, he was like, whatever, got rid of Costa, which we'll go over in a bit. But he went straight to Dana and was bitching to him. He's like, listen, man, 30% is not enough. 30% cut from the fighter's salary that didn't make weight is not enough. It should be 80 to 90%. I would take it a step further. I would give the fighter that didn't make weight the option. You either take an L on your record or you lose 80 to 90% of your purse. It goes to the other fighter. I think it's only fair when you, especially when you miss weight by four pounds. That means you weren't never making weight, and you knew that from the beginning, from the jump, from the beginning of the week. You knew you weren't planning on making weight. Listen, I wrestled in college. I've had MMA fights. I've had the jiu-jitsu tournaments. I've never ever missed weight. All right, and now you're a goddamn professional on the international scene. Abu Dhabi, Fight Island. Come on. Make fucking weight, Tukagov. And you know what? I thought you won that fight, but I'm glad that the judges gave it to Hakeem Dawodu. You don't deserve to win that fight. Make fucking weight, dude. That's it. End of story. You make fucking weight. Right? I did think he won the fight, though. All right? So, kind of fucked up the parlay. I hate when the parlay gets scrambled on the first night of the first fight of the night. So, is what it is. Make weight going forward. Fucking irks me. All right, Caitlin Vieira versus Sijara Eubanks. It went exactly how I thought it was gonna go. Caitlin is tall. She had good striking, and she's a better. I thought she had the better grappling game. Sijara Eubanks, she is a black belt in jiu-jitsu. I just didn't think she was gonna. She didn't have the range to close the distance. She didn't have the takedowns to take her down, and if she did, the jiu-jitsu canceled itself out. So. And kind of the striking canceled itself out. The only thing that Caitlin Vieira had, it was her height and range. So that's why I picked Caitlin. And she did her job. She got the nod. The one that surprised me the most was Brandon Royval. Super impressive. He finished Kara France with the guillotine. Nasty. And this kid, man, Royval has that. And I'm just talking about fighting style, has that Nate Diaz style of fighting, long, rangy. But I'm going to go ahead and say he's just a little bit sharper. He's younger, of course, but I think he's just as sharp or a little bit sharper and quicker, maybe even a little bit stronger as far as, fighting within their respective weight classes. But Brandon Royval has that, all right? And he has that pressure. He has that moving forward. And you know what? I was super impressed. I thought he wasn't up for this fight. And I'm just super impressed. I hope he gets a top five ranked fighter for his next fight because that was super impressive what he did. Very. And and that fight started out crazy. That first 2 minutes of the fight were nuts with the spinning back elbow and Kai catching him with the overhand right. It was just the nuts. It was a great fight. All right. They both put it on the line. It was awesome. All right. And now here we go. The co-main event. Now I put straight up money on this. Like I said, I was gonna do Jan Blachowicz versus Dominic Reyes, and people doubted me once again. People doubted me. Jan Blachowicz won. Now, I understand what John Jones and Dominic Reyes look like. But John Jones wasn't John Jones when John Jones fought Dominic Reyes, if that makes sense. Dominic Reyes fought a John Jones that was not determined, not focused in my eyes, didn't care really, And he still won. John Jones still won. If John Jones had a fire in his ass, Dominic Reyes wouldn't have escaped the second round, to be honest with you. Right? And I've seen how Jan Blachowicz has been fighting his last 3 or 4 fights, and it's a problem. It's a problem for anybody. It's a problem for a motivated John Jones. You understand? It's a problem. And I knew it was going to be a problem for Dominic Reyes. Dominic Reyes has, he fought a great fight. He fought the fight that he should have fought with John Jones, but I honestly don't think he had the experience to go up against Jan Blachowicz. Jan Blachowicz has been doing it for way longer and is just hitting his stride in his prime. So with all of that, I took into consideration, and I said Jan Blachowicz is going to win this fight 100%. Like, I was so confident about it. Man, I just had that gut feeling. Like I said on the podcast, I had that gut feeling. Jan Blachowicz was going to win in my head 100%. I didn't have a doubt about it. He was my underdog pick for that card. So, because I'll look at the prelims to see if there's a big underdog that you should be picking. But no, Jan Blachowicz was it, man. He over a plus 200 underdog against Dominic Reyes, and he has more and better tools than Dominic Reyes. What are we crazy? Who put the odds out on that fight? You take it. You fucking took it. I took it. I ran. All right? So that was the easy money for me, right? And then we get to the main event. Not surprised at all. Not surprised at all. Israel Adesanya pieced up Paulo Costa. End of story. And now, again, Costa is a big dummy. He's a big dummy. Great fighter. I'm not going to say he's not a great fighter. He's a big dummy. Izzy is a great fighter and smart and articulate, and he can perform with articulation, if that makes sense. He knows how to fight. He knows how to pick you apart. And I knew that was going to happen. If you thought Costa was going to run through Izzy, then I don't know what you look like. I know what you see with Costa. He's a big dumb animal, and that's it. End of story. And he's a fucking cornball with the antics before the fight, the antics during the fight. Is just dumb. He told Izzy to keep kicking his leg. So Izzy kept kicking his leg. And he played it off well, like it didn't hurt. But come on. Izzy is nasty, dude. He's not going to lose for a long, long time. And I'll say this. He's going to go up to 205 and dominate that weight class also. Right? That's it. I'm saying it right now. He's going to go up to 205. And he's going to dominate that weight class also. John Jones and Izzy fight. I don't think that's going to happen. John Jones is going to heavyweight. He's going to bulk up, and he's going to get some big name fights. Hopefully he fights Brock. But as far as Izzy's concerned, my God, what a fight, man. And also, you know what? I want to touch on one more thing. Diego Sanchez. Again, he's his own guy. He's his own person. This Fabian whatever guy, no good for him. No good for him. It's embarrassing. I'm embarrassed now. And I'm not saying he's not a good fighter. Of course, Diego Sanchez is a good fighter. But you can just tell if somebody's motivated, their body. He doesn't work out. That guy doesn't work out. He doesn't. He wants to talk about how he doesn't want to cut weight so he can have stamina for a whole fight. But dude, you were doing that while you were cutting weight and making weight at a lower weight class at 155. He's fighting at 170, I think, and that's not his weight class. He's not working out. He's not in the gym training. I think he's just fighting these last couple of fights And that's it. And I think he said it. He said it without saying it when he says, "Oh, I gave up my dreams of becoming a champion." He just wants to finish out his contract, and that's it. He's not even training, I don't think. He looks terrible. He looks bad. And I hope he gets it together for the next couple of fights. I mean, it redeems himself and then ends his career on a high note, because this whole Fabian project and him not fighting at 155 and just not working out and not training, I don't know, man. I don't know. Just looking at his body, you can tell that he had Taco Bell 3 days ago, right? He was eating Taco Bell, Burger King. He's no good, man. I don't know, man. I'm not a big. I used to be a Diego Sanchez fan, and now I'm just like, I feel bad for him. I feel real bad. So I hope he figures it out. Hopefully he can end his career on a high note with the UFC, and starts training and working out, lift some weights, man. Jesus Christ, bad, you know? Or just stop fighting. You don't have to finish out these last fights, man. I just can't fucking watch it anymore. My God, just go off in the sunset, man. You know? Anyway, let me give you my parlay giveaway, UFC Fight Island, Fight Night, bet predictions. Let me start off with Carlos Condit and Court McGee. This is a Legends fight, man. This is great. And you know what? There's a big difference between Carlos Condit still fighting and Diego Sanchez still fighting. Carlos Condit, I believe, still trains. Carlos Condit, I believe, still has a little bit of gas in the tank. And Carlos Condit, I believe, wants a Nick Diaz fight. Nick Diaz says he's going to come back to fight. I think Carlos Condit wants that fight. And to prove and show the UFC that he should get that fight, I'm picking him over Court McGee. I'm honestly, this is his audition for the Nick Diaz fight. This Carlos Condit's audition for the Nick Diaz fight is this fight with Court McGee this Saturday on Fight Island. All right, so Carlos, get it done, because I want to see that fight. I want to see Nick Diaz come back, and I want to see you fight. It was a controversial ending to that other fight. The first time, what was it, 8 years ago, 2012, I think they fought. Fucking for the youngins out there, look up that fight. Right, a lot of people argued that Nick Diaz won, right? So, Carlos Condit versus Court McGee. I'm going to go ahead and pick Carlos Condit for the win. All right. Now, Tom Breese versus Roman Kopylov. Roman Kopylov, I think, fought Carl Roberson in Russia last year. Looked good, but he's fighting somebody who I think he was undefeated up until that point. Goes into the UFC, fighting a guy who's had a couple of fights in the UFC, a different pace, a different style. You know, you have to, you know, maybe he was my first UFC fight, got the UFC jitters. But he ended up getting a rear naked choke in the last round against Carl Robinson. And same thing with Tom Breese, man. Tom Breese, he fought Brendan Allen, I think. They're both coming off of losses, right? Tom Breese, though, has fought in the UFC for a while now, like 5 years. He's been, you know, I think he took a year off, but he fights like 1 or 2 times a year. Not very active, but you know, he's been in the UFC for a while. He's fighting a stud in Roman Kopylov, because up until that last round against Carl Robinson, Roman was doing a good job. I mean, they were having some good, you know, exchanges. So, I mean, I think it's closer than what the odds say they are. What are the odds here? Oh, it's pretty close. I mean, Tom Breese is a minus 145 favorite, and that's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with Tom Breese on that one, all right? So, Carlos Condit, Tom Breese. The next fight that we got to go over, Germaine De Randamie versus Juliana Pena. Listen, I think, Germaine De Randamie, she's, you know, everybody has their opinion on this person. I think Germaine De Randamie is a high level striker. I think if she can avoid getting taken down, she's going to have this fight in the bag, all right? And this is pretty much even money. What is the minus 115? Okay, they're both minus 115 on the money line. Germaine, on my bookie, Germaine De Randamie, I'm going to go for the win, all right? So I'm picking Germaine De Randamie over Juliana Pena, you know? That's going to be an interesting fight. This next fight is very interesting. You got Carlos Felipe versus Yorgan De Castro. So Yorgan De Castro is the dude that went the distance with Greg Hardy. and he is a minus 265 fight against Carlos Felipe. Minus 265 favorite against Carlos Felipe. And I think he's a minus 265 favorite because he went the distance with Greg Hardy. So, cool. Great. This is a different fight, and I honestly do think that's why he's getting such a big, he's such a favorite because he went the distance. But Carlos Felipe, he ain't no punk. He will swing. He will hit you. I've watched a couple of his fights. He knows how to punch. They both have the same amount of experience. I think they both have like 9 or 10 fights altogether. I think they both have 1 or 2 fights in the UFC. They're both coming off losses again. This is an interesting fight, and I think it's the co-main event. I would think Germaine De Randamie would have been the co-main, but Yorgan De Castro versus Carlos Felipe. Carlos Felipe is a plus 205 underdog. That's my underdog pick. That's who I'm going with, Carlos Felipe over Yorgan De Castro, okay? I know Yorgan went the distance with Greg Hardy and did some damage, but Carlos Felipe, I think, will get the win, all right? And for the main event, Irene Aldana versus Holly Holm. I'm just going to say it. No bullshit. Irene Aldana is going to win. All right, Holly Holm, I think, is 47 years old. Nobody realizes how old Holly Holm is, right? Because she's so, she's cute, goofy, and she bounces around. But she's like 39. I mean, she's in phenomenal shape. She's in great shape. She has a lot of miles on her. Irene Aldana's coming up. She's sharp, great striker. I think it goes the distance, and Irene Aldana gets the nod. All right? So the format's going to change a little bit with this podcast, right? I'm done. I mean, I kind of broke down the fights, but not really. But what I'm going to do after this is the end of the podcast, right? But please remember to follow us on Instagram and on Twitter because we're going to post 1-minute breakdowns of my parlay bet predictions, all right? So I'm going to do a 1-minute prediction, 1-minute breakdown of Carlos Condit and Court McGee, right? And another 1-minute breakdown on Tom Breese and Roman Kopylov. So, and I'm going to post it on Instagram and Twitter and upload it to YouTube, of course, all right? And it's going to be my 1-minute breakdowns for those fights. So, listen, the payout's going to be $500 for this one, again, all right? And that's it, all right? So, just to recap, Irene Aldana, Carlos Felipe, Germaine De Randamie, Tom Breese, and Carlos Condit for the Parlay Giveaway Cash Contest. This is my time. I'm Joe Cortez. I hope you dig the Hawaiian shirts. I'm out. Peace.